Tell me about this. Back in the day, if you touched a goalie, you were clobbered by somebody on the ice. Carey Price, touched by Alex Chiasson, injured, had to leave the game after the first. No penalty on the play. None of the Habs did anything. Is the NHL doing enough or anything at all to protect goaltenders?
It's a great conversation to have because I don't know that they are. You just look at what the other sports leagues have done, particularly I'm thinking about the NFL and the way they protect their superstar quarterbacks. You can't get near those guys. You sneeze near them and they throw a flag. The NBA, it's just been a known fact for a long time that, the stars get the calls. They get the whistles around the rim. In the NHL, we don't do anything special to protect our star players, but in particular, our goaltenders. And Carey Price is a pretty big name and a pretty important player in this league. You're kind of allowed to bump them with impunity, and they're expected to be more like players. It wouldn't kill us to tighten up on contact against goaltenders and protect them a little bit more because they are so often vulnerable back there.
So you'd like maybe a rule change or something? I'd like to go back to the old days where you just grab the guy and clobber him. That's not going to happen.
The rule change is you're now allowed to grab a guy and clobber him. That's my rule, Kenny.
There. So we both agree on that one. Okay, Connor McDavid, man. What a goal in that game against the Habs. Is he finding yet another level? And that sounds pretty nuts to say.
No. He's been absurd all year. It's what he is to me that, he's a ghost. He's a ghost at the blue line. For some reason, defensemen can't touch him. I don't know that he took a stride from the blue line in necessarily or just outside the blue line in, but once he starts that lateral movement, D just can't even get a piece of him. He's been doing that all year. He's at this level that no one else in the league is. He's going to win the Hart Trophy. They're just a special player taking over a game at the right time for a team that needed it.
The Habs had done a pretty decent job of at least taming McDavid and Draisaitl before that game. What were they doing, and should other teams be copying it?
Well, I think it's the old, Gretzky theory. Hey, shut down that guy and make the rest of the team beat us. And often the Oilers don't have the horses to beat you, so they get all the attention. I think the Habs were at the point where what they played 10 games in 17 days or something around there. They just looked tired at the end that they couldn't keep up with them anymore. But prior to that, they had the legs. They were able to, hang on them like dinner jackets and slow them down. But it's not easy to do, particularly when you're tired.
You're a video guy. You can break it all down. So tell me this. What's wrong with the Toronto Maple Leafs power play, and how do they fix it?
Well, it's just that, that lack of pace, the little bit of hesitancy when you doubt yourself. They just don't look confident. It's slow. It's predictable. I believe Ryan Whitney, Merrick always tells stories about Ryan Whitney saying they give out bad information out there. They're telling the truth with everything they do. They're looking where they're passing. They're hanging on to the puck a half second too long. It's just got to be zip, zip, and fire it and let's go. That gets their confidence up and keeps the defense moving around. So right now they just look a half step too slow, and that likely comes from confidence. And they have no reason to be confident right now. So it all adds up.
Okay, it's not looking good for the Calgary Flames. We talk about them every week. Now, if they don't make the playoffs, and it doesn't look like they will, can they say the Ottawa Senators are to blame? They lost 6 of 8 against the Sens this year. Now, is that what it is, or is this a sign of just bigger problems for the Flames?
Well, sometimes it's just a matchup issue. It is a sign of bigger problems from the Flames, to answer the question at the root of it all. They're a flawed team that doesn't seem to have the pop or the pushback in the big moments, and it just hasn't been there for them. But sometimes the matchup just doesn't go in your favor. To me, the Sens are a team that try to play tight defensively. I know DJ Smith wants to do that, but because they're so young, there's breakdowns. If the Flames don't capitalize on those opportunities, and they haven't all year long, the Sens are going to get a couple. I think they've been shut out, maybe none, maybe once all season. So they're going to score the odd goals on you. So you got to be able to capitalize against Ottawa. And the Flames are just not a team that capitalizes on much this year.
Brady Tkachuk, he could keep other teams' players from running their goalies or getting in the blue paint. I'm just going back to that whole grab a guy.
To my awesome rule, the face punchicizing rule.
Yeah, exactly.